Why do so many creatives stay broke, even when they do brilliant work? Do you find that even when you put your best foot forward and you do great work, it still seems like you have trouble making an income or getting your work in front of an audience to whom it matters? Well, here are three reasons I've identified why so many brilliant creatives struggle. Number one is stubbornness or an unwillingness to take a different approach. This is something that I have gone through. I am guilty as sin for not being willing to take another approach, for being unyielding and unbending. It had to be my way. My value of freedom was so strong that at times I was not willing to compromise in any way, shape, or form. But you know what happened when I started saying yes instead of saying no? I found a lot of work and a lot of high paying work in a variety of different capacities, utilizing different strengths of mine. I mean, the long game for sure wasn't to be doing so many different things and juggling so many different plates, but in the immediate, it really served and it really kind of fulfilled that part of me that craves variety and needs it. So, are you stubborn? Are you unwilling to try different things? I can tell you that some of the coolest contracts, some of the coolest work I've ever done has come through things that initially looked like nothing I would normally do. Number two, are you convinced of the superiority of your product? This is a tough one. I've worked really hard on my craft. I happen to think my writing is really good and it continues to get better. I happen to think I'm a great teacher. I happen to think I have great courses and programs and other stuff I've created over time. But the problem with thinking and possibly even knowing that your work is better, although that is ultimately subjective, if you're convinced your work is better than most of what's out there, or even all of what's out there, you probably don't put as much effort into sharing it and into promoting it and to marketing it as you would if it was inferior work. And the problem is the customer has no idea until they buy it. They don't know if your product is quantifiably better. They have to buy it, take it home, try it out for themselves to find out whether it's better than anything else they've tried to this point. So having a superior product is nice, but unfortunately, it often convinces us creatives that there's no need for promotion. And that's just not the way it works. In that sense, it's almost better to have an inferior product. So there's no market advantage to having the best product. And that is certainly not a reason to take your foot off the marketing gas pedal. And number three, you're unwilling to be a true do-it-yourselfer. So what does it mean to be a true do-it-yourselfer in the world of creativity? Well, author, entrepreneur, and investor James Altucher wrote a book called Choose Yourself. I suggest reading it. There's a quote in it, and he basically says, artists must be entrepreneurs. That is your choice, suggesting there is no other choice. So a true do-it-yourselfer is an entrepreneur. That's what it looks like. Now, this is not a struggle I have specifically, and it's also not a struggle I've identified with necessarily at any point in my career. However, there was a turning point for me in 2011 when I was introduced to network marketing. And that's where I got all my fundamental core training in business that gave me the mindset. Now, I did not identify this as a personal struggle in any way, shape, or form. Always thought of myself as being pretty entrepreneurial. But what I realized was this was a complete blind spot until I saw it in 2011. That's when I was invited to take a look at a network marketing opportunity. I ended up joining. That wasn't really the right business or place and time for me, but I did get something from it, which was my core fundamental business training. And that was like someone turning on a light switch in a dark room. I suddenly saw all kinds of things that I hadn't seen before. But the bottom line is we've got to be willing to create our own opportunities. That's the only way forward now. There's no one coming to save you. There's no deus ex machina. We've got to go out there and share our work and create partnerships and develop opportunities. That's what it looks like to be a true do it yourselfer.